October 11th, 2022, I sat down and listened to an album called Mr. Thug Isolation by Lil Ugly Mane. At the time, I didn't know anything about the album or the artist. I went in completely blind. After the last song on the album ended, I was heavily impressed as to what I just heard. After listening to only one of his albums, I was already hooked on Lil Ugly Mane's music. I couldn't wait to hear another one of his albums. But I couldn't, because I had school the next day. So I went to bed. Over the next month or so, I became obsessed with Lil Ugly Mane's music, and he quickly became one of my favorite musicians of all time. His range in sounds is insane. You can find pretty much any genre of music in his discography, from rap-centric albums like Mr. Thug Isolation, or his extremely experimental alt-rock shoegaze album, Volcanic Bird Enemy and The Voice Concern. I mean, you can even find noise music sprinkled throughout his projects. But today, I'm not here to talk about his albums or even his mixtapes. I'm here to talk about his 2012 EP, Uneven Compromise. The EP was released on October 28, 2012. The runtime is 11 minutes and is split into 4 parts, with each part having its own unique message and meaning behind it. So how about we start at the beginning with part 1. For the first 30 seconds of part 1, all you can hear is a xylophone and what I assume are baby noises or something like that. I don't really know. Around the 33-second mark, the synths and the drums come in and you immediately get hit with the chorus of part 1. In the chorus, Lil Ugly Mane is basically saying that he is dead. Corrupted by the darkness, now you fall into an endless sleep. At this point, we don't know how or why he died. We just know that he was a miserable person. In the first verse, we get a lot of dark imagery, with lines such as festering bodies will cover the streets and blood on my dagger from enemies' throats. This shows us that Lil Ugly Mane has real dark and disturbing thoughts and that he's in a really dark place mentally. But also that he doesn't mind it. He knows and he kinda accepts the fact that he isn't going to get better. So he decides to create hell by opening his wrist with a razor, giving us confirmation that he is dead. And at this point we know how he died. The chorus is then played once again and we enter the second verse. In the first part of the verse, Lil Ugly Mane is taking a role of a Grim Reaper type character by saying that he's post-mortem and how he will kill other rappers if they try to fight him. But in this context, I think that he's trying to say that he will kill other rappers if they try to replace him now that he's gone. And it seems like he doesn't mind killing them at all, suggested by this line. In the second part of the verse, he goes back to the themes of verse 1, reassuring us that he is dead and that he doesn't need our sympathy because he's comfortable in misery. Then we get the chorus again, but it's way longer than usual. Then the beat ends and we enter part 2 of the EP. Part 2 of the EP is entirely made with samples of other rappers like KRS-One, Common, Milk D, Gangstar, and the motherfucker even sampled a video by Ralph Smart. So part 2 starts with a little piano and an interlude by KRS-One. The interlude refers to Lil Ugly Mane switching up his style from his first album, Mr. Thug Isolation. Then suddenly, the KRS sample and the piano are cut and a really nice boom bap beat starts playing. The sample used in this section is from the formerly mentioned Ralph Smart. I did some research on him and I think he's a psychologist, and he also has a YouTube channel to which he uploads a lot of, let's just say, interesting videos. The sample in this song is taken from his video Nothing Is What It Seems, The Holographic Universe, It's All an Illusion, which fits perfectly in this part of the EP since this part is all about artistry. Lil Ugly Mane uses this sample to I think showcase how everything can be seen as art, because when we think about it, we as people, our bodies, we are pieces of art. Even buildings can be seen as pieces of art, but we aren't always looking at it from that perspective. After the Ralph Smart sample ends, the boom bap beat also ends, and the refrain of part 2 starts. The refrain is constructed by samples of Audio 2 song Top Billin', Gangstar song Just to Get a Rep, and Common song Shy City. All the samples are pitched up or down or slowed, and that gives the refrain a really unsettling vibe to it. The refrain touches on themes of labels signing rap artists and then making them more commercial just to earn more money. Lil Ugly Mane thinks that's the reason why people are getting tired of rap, which is kinda crazy that this is still true 11 years after this EP came out. After the first time, the refrain is repeated 5 more times, and with the last one ending, we are finished with the second part of the EP, and we finally enter part 3. Hey, yo, I saw my man the other day say he need a handout. So, we are finally here. If you don't know what's coming, strap in, prepare, and enjoy. The entire third part is a story time track about friendship, trust, and drug addiction. So without further ado, let's start at the beginning. The story starts with Ugly bumping into his old friend who was going through a difficult time at the moment and was in need for some money. Ugly's old friend is now a failed drug dealer due to the cocaine drought that hit the city. Ugly passes his friend a cigarette and they start talking about life. Ugly asks his friend about his children and the friend replies that he hasn't seen his children since his baby mama tried to kill him. Ugly starts laughing and suddenly remembers the story of how his friend was caught sleeping with another woman. The baby mama got so mad at him that she pulled out a gun, but Ugly's friend hid under the bed and escaped naked through the window. As Ugly was laughing at the funny story, he looked at his friend, but he wasn't laughing. Seeing that, Ugly tried to switch up the topic casually, but his friend went into some sort of a tantrum. He started saying that he doesn't know what happened to him, and then he immediately starts reminiscing about how he used to live so extravagantly. He basically starts coping by remembering how he used to buy new shoes whenever he wanted, and how his business was doing way better. But now, he's just a bum in the streets. As his friend was coping, Ugly saw some track marks on his friend's arm, which are a sign of heroin use. After seeing that, Ugly considered leaving, but he didn't, since he's been down the same road as his friend, which is actually true, as Ugly would reveal in a 2018 Facebook post that he was at some point in his life heavily using heroin. Ugly didn't play around. He confronted his friend directly about the track marks. After being confronted, the friend wanted to punch Ugly, but he calmed him down. Ugly apologized because he just wanted to help. He didn't want to see his homie struggle like that. After cooling down, the friend looked Ugly directly in the eyes and promised him that he would get clean. Ugly nodded in confirmation, but deep down he knew that his friend was lying, because, well, he would too if he was in his position. After that situation ended, Ugly gave his friend some money and they continued chatting for a bit. In the conversation, the friend mentioned that he was living with his aunt, but as Ugly would later find out, that wasn't the case, because sometime later, Ugly saw his friend's aunt and she told him that he wasn't living with her, and if she sees him, she would immediately report him to the police. Ugly then realized just how bad his friend's situation was, but he couldn't prepare himself for what he was about to learn. The aunt says that they found his friend's babies dead, with their throats slit. Ugly couldn't believe this. He didn't want to believe that his friend was the one that killed his kids, but deep down, he knew that it was. After the story, we'll get the hook that perfectly ties up the whole of part 3. In the hook, Ugly accepts the fact that his friend has changed for the worse, and that he can't help him anymore. He's too far gone. Part 4 is once again a lush instrumental piece that has some vinyl crackling noises added to it to symbolize that the EP is ending. This part kinda lets you think and process what you just heard. And with that, the EP ends. I told you that he makes noise music. So yeah, it's done. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I hope that I did a good enough of a job explaining this EP. I've been working on this video for a long time, so please leave a like if you enjoyed watching, subscribe to the channel, go listen to the EP and Lil Ugly Mane's music, I guess. And until next time, bye.